This little episode is going to be about a book called PUER ROMANUS, a Roman boy, and it's a product of the direct method. The direct method was promulgated in England towards the end of the 1800s, early 1900s, right through until shortly after the Second World War. Both wars, the first and the second, had a pretty bad effect on it, as a large number of teachers of the method were killed in action, and particularly they tended to be officers, and a lot of them didn't make it through the war. So after the war, the method died pretty much, simply because the competence, the level of competence, the number of teachers who actually could speak Latin fluently, and so to use this direct method, which involved using Latin in the classroom as a spoken language to teach it, died. And in England now it's extremely rare to find in the high school situation Latin taught in the Latin language as a language. Usually it's taught as a grammatical course, and there are some references back to the direct method for the Cambridge course, etc. But it's still primarily taught through translation in England. In America, there's some more teachers who are trying to revive this method of teaching, which is the method used, of course, in all the modern languages, for good reason, because if you actually spend more time in the target language, you learn the target language. If you spend all your time translating out of the target language, well, you get quite good at translating, not that good at it, but you never actually learn the target language. So PUER ROMANUS is a little novel meant for second-year students. It starts off reasonably easily, and the first 22 pages or so are pretty easy, and then it starts to get a little bit more difficult. I would say for modern students who have far less time in the classroom, this would be a upper intermediate book. Certainly wouldn't be a second-year book in the modern Latin classroom. Written in 1918 by Appleton and Jones. What I'm going to do is read you little bits of it. If you want to hear the whole book as an audiobook, then you can go on to latinum.org.uk. There it is, latinum.org.uk, and you can look there on the list of titles and DVD, and you'll find that there's a DVD with the text and the audio as an audiobook of PUER ROMANUS. It starts off with a little description of the protagonist, and here it goes. Ego et vita mea, ego de me ipso, de parentibus, de fratre, de sororibus, de amicis, de omni mea vita, sum tibi narraturus, Romanus sum puer, a nos natus dodecim. Nomina nostra ignoras, scio te ignorare, nemo enim tibi dixit. Nomina igtur sine mora dicam, primum de patre, ille appellatur Sextus Cornelius Polio. Sextus ipsum designat Cornelius gentem, Polio familiam. Itaque haec habet tria praenomen, nomen cognomen. Nunc de matre dicam, ille nominatur Terentia. Fratri praenomen est Gaius, sorores appellantur prima, secunda, tertia. Ego autem appellor Lucius. And so we have the introduction where he tells you his name. Then he goes on about school, where he lives, a little trip they go on, some poems he recites, the trip to Rome, and then a brief description of Rome when he arrives. Roma. Longum est omnia, quae Roma sunt, describere. In septe montibus aedificata est urbs Roma. Monte Palatino, Monte Aventino, Monte Capitolino, Colle Quirinali, Colle Viminali, Monte Esquilino, Monte Caelio. Quorum cur duos sint colles nominati, quinque montes, nescio equidem, and so on and so on. And he sort of talks about Rome, this little map. Then there's a little ghost story story, famous story about a person with his friend in the inn. One of them gets murdered, and he has a dream. Some stuff about dreams, and then various bits and pieces from Roman history, some more stories, and it's quite a nice little book. Some fables. Caesar Rubiconem transit, quid enim Caesari olim accidit, dubitanti utrum Rubiconem flumen transiret nec ne. Nam post solis occasum multis e proximo pistrino ad vehiculum iunctis occultissimum iter medico comitato ingressus est, et cum luminibus extinctis decessit via diu errabundus, etc. And goes on talking about that little story. So it's quite delightful, and the actual text itself has questions for the teacher in Latin after each chapter, which you can try answer if you're a student. Quite good exercise. So here it is, Puer Romanus. It's not a very big book. It's a couple of hours of audio listening to, and worth listening to over and over again, just to get some basic Latin into your head. And that's Puer Romanus, and you can find it on latinum.org.uk, and the DVD has the PDF of the Puer Romanus text and also the audio. Vale, bye.